Hey, how's it going, everybody? Scott Spreitzer here with Doug Upstone. Welcome to the month of September. Welcome to the 2021 college football campaign as we really get busy this week in college. We're talking college football and SEC, and Doug Upstone and I are going to be here each and every week throughout the football season with an SEC report. We've got 3 videos up this week, including this Georgia Clemson game that we're about to talk about. And Doug, I got another SEC-ACC clash in this particular contest. Georgia and Clemson doing battle in Charlotte, North Carolina. Clemson opened a 4-point favorite. Line is down to 3. That total, Doug, 50.5 for the most part. This is almost a Joes versus pros game as we're talking. 55% of the tickets are on Georgia. 60% of the money is on Clemson. Yet again, the number has come down, which is a little odd when you hear that the majority of the money is on one particular side and the line goes the other way. Your thoughts on this Clemson football team, the offense post-Trevor Lawrence era, and the Georgia Bulldogs?
Yeah, this to me, I look at these two teams, and I mean, the numbers that you just mentioned, they seem very much correct. The two teams, I think, are very evenly matched. This is far and away, at least to me, the best game of the weekend. I mean, you got the number 3 and number 5 team in the country in terms of futures betting for who could be national champions. These are the number 2 and 3 teams behind Alabama. So there's a lot riding on this game. But the one thing, though, about it, which is nice, and it's good for us, for us fans as well, is that the loser's not eliminated. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean they don't have to win the rest of their games in order to get to the Final Four playoff. Nonetheless, though, we get a treat of having a game like this. And looking at this matchup, I think that the one thing that stands out for me is that the Clemson offensive line is still questionable. Last year, it was not very good. They supposedly have made some upgrades, got some new personnel, et cetera, et cetera. But that Georgia front 7 is going to be as good as any in the SEC and maybe the country. So I'm kind of thinking that they could stymie them some. Then the other side of the ball is that Clemson, one of their big focuses in the offseason, especially on defense, off that Ohio State debacle that happened to them last year, is that they want to become a more physical defensive team. And so that's what all the emphasis, when you go under different websites about Clemson football, that's what they're talking about, is just becoming a more physical team. And I think you'll see that show up against Georgia. Now, Georgia, I think, has a very good offensive team. They always like to run the ball first. JT Daniels gives them a big play offense. So from my standpoint, I'm looking at this game. I think there'll be enough scoring. Okay, I think both teams will get in the 20s, but I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. So I don't know if you mentioned, I think you mentioned 50.5 you're seeing around. I thought it was 53 it opened at. I'm sorry if you said that already. Okay, yeah, so it came down. So I actually like the under in this game. And so from that standpoint, that's going to be my play. And I would take it up to 50. Okay, in terms of the under, I think we're going to be somewhere 26, 23, maybe 24, 23, somewhere in that range. So I like the under in this one. Scott, now, what do you think is going to happen in this one?
Well, Clemson, I mentioned it's in North Carolina, so the fan support is going to be equal. Clemson has become used to playing on this field. They've done so repeatedly in the ACC title games. But listen, the defense, as you mentioned, you got Brent Venables coaching your defense. You're going to have a beast of a defense. And as long as the recruiting is even halfway decent, we know it is. So he's got 10 returning starters to deal with. They return a top NFL talent at wide receiver in Justin Ross. We do know about that. They have a quarterback who threw for over 400 yards against Notre Dame last year when Trevor Lawrence was out, which is the most yardage passing-wise that a Notre Dame team has ever given up in their storied history. So, listen, can Kirby Smart get that signature win is the big question mark as I handicap this game. As you mentioned, will JT Daniels prove all the hype, reach his potential? He's been a hyped quarterback. He was hyped more than Trevor Lawrence coming out of high school, if you recall. Listen, I hate the fact that Georgia's missing their top 2 tight ends. They are such a big part of the Bulldog offense. And I think the defenses, like you, Doug, fare well. Listen, either I've got a little mini camera above your desk in your offense, or you've got one above my desk in my offense, because like so many games, we are in agreement here, sir. I think that it's a situation where the defenses are going to be a little bit ahead of the offenses, even though that total's dropped a little bit. I'm with you. I like the under in this one too. So you got a pair of unders. We're looking for a sleepy, low-scoring game. We're looking for a quick moving game and for the defenses to do their job, hopefully, on Saturday. Don't sleep on this. Doug Upstone's off to a winning start in college football. Doug Upstone had a great run last year in college and pro football. Doug, you tell them the rest. What's going on this weekend?
Yes, Scott, we're excited and ready to go. And one of the things we have going, we've got a 6-unit play going on Saturday. So looking forward to releasing that. Did my homework. Gonna kind of just dance into the season a little bit. Not gonna rush a great deal here. There's to me at least, there's so many unknowns when you first go into the season. So you have to, I think it's best to be selective, okay, from a handicapping standpoint and from a standpoint if you're placing your bets. So I would say to do that now. Once we have some data on teams, then you can go from there, and that's what this week is all about. And with so many good games, Scott. I don't know how there's going to be a lot of information that we're going to be able to pull out of this out of all these games. Now last year, as you mentioned, I finished great. Okay, I did 40-22. Very pleased about that. Had a lot of happy customers at Docs, and see going into this year if I can continue the same exact thing. And I know, Scott, you did exactly the same thing.
It's funny because we don't really talk about games a whole lot before we never talk about them other than here's what we're going to talk about on video. It's as far as it goes because we want to have a fresh reaction to what the other guy's doing. We also don't spend a ton of time talking about who you're playing as we release our plays on Thursdays over at DocSports.com, as do all handicappers. They put them out on Thursdays. But yet we both had these tremendous runs to win the season last year. You, as you mentioned, were red hot. I go 20-6, 8-1 in the bowls. We came into the season up about 9,000. I hit the freebie last week, but I lost my 4-star premium play last week. So 1-1 overall in college football. But I love getting out in front of the lines makers. That doesn't mean you're going to win every time, but we've had a tremendous run with the 7-star plays. Tremendous one in college football and the NFL, 58% last 617. So check it out. Check out Doug's, check out mine, check out everybody's. Check out that $60 free account that's right above our heads. And right below the video, you'll see a link. And if you're not yet a member at DocSports.com, you click on that link, get yourself set up for the free $60 account. You can use that on any of Doug's or mine or anybody else's daily packages over at DocSports.com. So having said that, we're both with opinions on Georgia Clemson under. For Doug Upstone, I'm Scott Spreitzer. We are DocSports.com. Let's put him in the win column.